What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. First and foremost, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe and sanitized. Today, we are here to watch some overly sarcastic productions. It's been a while since I've checked into this channel, and I'm actually super excited because today's video is of fables and folk tales, and it's a little spooky. I'm assuming by the name, it's called The Boy Who Found Fear at Last, and I felt like we needed to start off light with our spooky content, but we're going into Halloween weekend, and so I'm thinking I'm gonna have to react to a couple of Halloween episodes of OSP, maybe a couple scary movies. You guys let me know. You guys let me know what you're into, whatever tickles your fancy. Y'all let me know. I'm super excited for this video. You guys know that I love Red. I always admire her eloquence and how she breaks stuff down. And really like summarizes things for us, but not in a way that makes it feel like you're losing any of the story. Like when I watch overly sarcastic productions and I see Red's videos, it really feels like I'm not missing anything. Like I read the book myself even. So I think I just think it's great. I just think Red's great. I just think she's super cool and everything that I've ever wanted to be when I grow up. So I'm very interested to see what this video has in store for us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
The world of folk and fairy tales is a mysterious and alluring place.
True.
Dragons and ogres abound, witches lurk in the woods, every third-born child has a magical adventure in store for them, and there are kingdoms aplenty, lush with imperiled princesses and extremely generous land ownership policies.
Yeah, and also for some reason, always delicious food and like super juicy fruits. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm just hungry.
Imperiled princesses and extremely generous land ownership policies. Sure, you might end up cursed to spit frogs or eaten by a wolf, but all things considered, it's a very tempting environment for exploration. Tempting and terrifying in equal measure, like all the best fantasy tends to be. Today's folktale is apparently Turkish in origin, documented in English in Andrew Lang's Olive Fairy book based on a German version from the Türkische Volksmärchen, or Turkish folktales. It's a lot of fun for a lot of reasons, and honestly, it's a shame it's not better known.
I've never checked, but I think I've mentioned to y'all before that I have a bunch of first editions, which means they're falling apart because they were not well taken care of before I got them. But anyway, I have a bunch of first editions of Andrew Lang's color fairy books. And I have to look and see. I don't know if I have Olive, but I think I might.
I didn't think I had a favorite fairy tale before today, but this has absolutely taken my top spot.
All right.
So today let's talk about The Boy Who Found Fear at Last.
Let's do it.
The story begins in a lonely cottage by a dark forest where a woman lives a sheltered existence with her only son, which is primo folktale scene setting right there. One night, a storm blows in and slams the door open, frightening the woman and confusing her son, who has apparently led such a sheltered existence that he has no concept of what fear means. His mother tries and fails to explain the concept of directionless existential dread, so the boy decides to take matters into his own hands and find fear himself, leaving at the crack of dawn for his adventure without even saying goodbye, and probably giving his mother a whole host of other fear-related issues for the foreseeable future. I wouldn't know, she's not in this story anymore. So the boy heads out into the world to find fear. He spots a promising-looking mountain and makes his way up it, finding a bandit camp posted up at the summit. And because he's chilly, he marches up to the fire and squeezes in between a couple bandits to warm himself up. This baffles and amuses the bandit leader, and when the boy explains that he's trying to learn what fear is, and fails to respond to the bandit's intimidating boasting, the bandits suggest he take some of their supplies and bake a nice cake for them in the nearest graveyard. He trots merrily off to do just that, and as the cake gets all nice and golden brown, a hand erupts from the grave soil and a ghostly voice asks if the food is for them. He explains that that would be a waste of good food, whacks the hand with his spoon, takes the cake, and leaves.
My guy. Okay, I feel like on some level, fear is like innate, right? Like sometimes fear is a physical response. You're telling me there wasn't like a little jump in your heartbeat? There wasn't like a little like tightness in your tummy when you saw a whole ass hand come up out of the ground? This kid is amazing.
The bandits are torn between being baffled and impressed, and they suggest another place the young man could try to find fear. A deep, dark pool on the other side of the mountain.
Come on, boss, you really should try the cake. I mean, especially since you're the one who told him to go make it. Like, at least eat the cake. Cake. I could go for some cake. I like cake. I really like cake. Anyway, I'm sorry.
He skedaddles on over and finds the pool, along with a swing set with a crying child in it, suspended over the water. As he takes in this odd situation, a young woman appears and begs him for his help. She just can't reach her little brother on the swing, so she needs a boost. The boy is happy to oblige her, but when she climbs up, instead of grabbing the kid, she pushes down hard, nearly tipping the boy into the water. This is far from kosher, so the boy yeets her off him. She goes flying, losing a bracelet in the process, which he thinks is pretty nifty, and snags. When he looks up, both the girl and the kid have mysteriously disappeared, which is pretty spooky, but not enough to make him feel fear. Not when he has this great new bracelet to entertain him. He heads down the mountain looking for a place to get a snack and finds a small town tucked into the foothills. As he passes through, a townsperson claims his snazzy new bracelet actually belongs to him, and the boy suggests they take their dispute before a judge, who hears their stories and decides neither of them can prove ownership, and says until someone can present another bracelet that matches this one to prove it's really theirs, he'll be keeping it.
Sorry, real quick. I love how Red addresses things in the drawings that she doesn't necessarily talk about. I really enjoy it. So this says, hey, I'm an unexpected reminder of the casual ubiquity of anti-Semitism in historical literature. Guess my single personality trait. Guess what it is? Just guess. You'll never guess. I'm just so rich and powerful, and boy howdy, I sure love money. I bet you didn't see that coming. I bet you didn't. I bet you were so shocked and so surprised.
The terrors of a convoluted legal system are insufficient to teach the boy fear, so he meanders down to the beach and spots a ship in the process of sinking. The terrified sailors are a promising lead for the boy, so he swims out to them, has them throw him a rope, and swims down to see what's got the ship stuck. He finds that the boat is wedged on a rock, but it is also being dragged down by a mysterious waterwoman, who has a chain lodged in the hull and is steadily pulling it down.
Why?
The boy grabs her, yanks the chain free, and ties her to a rock, then swims back to the surface as the sailors get the boat to shore. Emboldened by his easy conquest of yet another spooky ghost, the boy continues his search for fear and wanders his way into a beautiful garden.
Is this existential dread? Experiencing whimsy. I love this. Also, the flowers in this, very well done. Lovely.
Where he sees 3 doves dive into a pool. The doves then emerge from the water, transformed into beautiful young women that look strangely familiar, and they set up a tea party and drink a toast. The first woman drinks to the fearless young man who rapped her knuckles with a spoon when she burst out of a grave at him. The second drinks to the fearless boy who threw her off by the pool, and the third drinks to the absolute weirdo who swam to the bottom of the ocean to fight her IRL.
Oh, that's
the boy
dope.
in question pops out of the flower beds and demands they give him the match to his bracelet so he can get his own back, and the ladies happily lead him into a shining hall filled with treasures of all sorts, pick out the bracelet, and send him on his way. The boy marches back to the judge to retrieve the bracelet's match, and then continues on his quest. As the boy meanders on, he finds the outer edges of a large crowd of people, all gathered around in apparent anticipation. He asks what's going on, and one of them explains that the king of this area has died with no heirs, but they're using a foolproof method to identify their next ruler. Every day, they release a single sacred pigeon, and if that pigeon lands on a person, that person is worthy of the throne. I don't know why anyone bothers with democratic elections when this is clearly the only objectively perfect mode of governance. Anyway, sure enough, the sacred pigeon flaps its way down and lands squarely on the boy's head. The townsfolk are overwhelmed with joy at having a new ruler, but the boy feels a sudden surge of a strange emotion, a horrifying vision of his future, bound to a throne and to responsibility, forced to spend the rest of his life trying and failing to make the poor richer, the miserable happier, the bad better, never having the freedom to live his life according to his whims. He begins to panic, but the crowd thinks he's just shy and releases a few more pigeons just to be sure, and they pile on the one true king in an adorable heap of orbularity as he works through his very first panic attack and slowly accepts that the rest of his life will have fear as a constant and steady companion while he acclimates to fabulous wealth and power. How sad.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Everyone knows, all adults know that the true horror in life is responsibility. Oh my God. I love that this was written like a long ass time ago, so you can see that there's really nothing new under the sun. Humanity has always known that the root of fear really should be being responsible for the well-being of others. The root of fear is actually having to do work and not just getting to live your life the way that you please. That's the true horror story. I love it. I think it's amazing. I think it's incredible. We literally haven't changed in centuries. We have not changed. Okay, let's see the little notes that Red left us at the end of the vid like she always does.
Not at all.
So how did you become king? Well, the Lady of the Lake, her arm clad in the purest shimmering samite, held Excalibur aloft from the bosom of the water to signify by divine providence that I, Arthur, was to carry Excalibur. And that is how I became king. Oh wow, that's cool. So how did you become the king? Let's not talk about it. I love it. I think it's great. Red, as always, did an amazing job with the illustrations, did an amazing job with the talking points, focusing on the most important aspects of the story, but still making it so that, like, if I went and read the story, there's still things that I could take away from it that she didn't talk about. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I just always really enjoy how Red approaches these summaries and explanations. I always find it a really good time, and I thank you guys for watching with me. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to wink now, and I'm going to remember that I'm winking, because I realize that part of why my winks are so bad sometimes is sometimes halfway through the wink, I forget that I'm winking, which I feel like the problem with that is that I take too long to wink, because winking should really be more of a like really quick thing, and instead I make it really long and dragged out because otherwise I can't do it. But anyway, I'm gonna wink now. Peace out, Hope Biscuits. It's Skittenlit.